No, the CIA cannot overrule the president. The CIA cannot even overrule the director of national intelligence. In 1975, the Church Committee, which became the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, specifically ordered DCI William Colby to release all of the MK Ultra files. He famously went back to CIA headquarters and ordered that all of the files be destroyed. 85% of them were destroyed. He was held in contempt of Congress, and then CIA employees lined the halls and contributed cash to pay for the fine that he was ordered to pay. We only know what we know about MK Ultra because of the 15% of the files that weren't destroyed. These are among those 15% of the files. They are mandated to be declassified. The American people have a right to know what is in these files, and the CIA can't raid offices, least of all the offices of the Director of National Intelligence. It's just, real life isn't supposed to work this way.
According to Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna, who's overseeing this congressional task force on the release, the declassification of, MLK assassination, RFK, JFK assassination files, and apparently also MK Ultra files, there was actually supposed to be a hearing on MK Ultra by the House Oversight Task Force on May 13th. So 3 days ago. And that didn't actually happen. On May 12th, Anna Paulina Luna said our task force hearing on MK Ultra will be rescheduled for a later date. Shocking. Who could have guessed that? We were able to confirm one witness, but our other 3 witnesses, rightfully so, were hesitant to testify as they have legitimate concerns. We'll announce a new date soon and are looking forward to investigating this topic. Now, there was some pretty crazy developments that took place right around the time that they were trying to get these witnesses to come and testify. And as things were beginning to heat up about the release of all these files, but nothing comes close to what took place over the last 48 hours, that being that there were reports that Tulsi Gabbard, the Director of National Intelligence, her office was raided. We'll be right back with the episode, but first, a quick word from our sponsor. A few weeks ago, I covered Saga Metals, trading as SAGMF in the United States and SAGA in Canada, a company I've featured many times on the channel. We're revisiting the story much sooner than expected because in less than 6 months, they've transformed the scale of the company. Just 48 hours ago, Saga announced a 100% drill success rate across all 57 drill holes at the Radar project, all ahead of schedule, while adding $10 million to its treasury through a financing round dedicated entirely to drilling. Radar is now being positioned as a potential host to one of the largest titanium systems ever identified in North America. Saga also secured a strategic titanium acquisition from under $100 billion mining giant Rio Tinto in the same district as the largest titanium mine in the world. Then last month came the acquisition of the Wolverine project, located along the same belt as the Voisey's Bay discovery, one of the most significant mineral discoveries in history. The momentum is hard to ignore because America's critical supply chain depends on titanium. Washington has already committed $12 billion through Project Vault, alongside Executive Order 14241 and a State Department ministerial with 55 foreign ministers focused on critical minerals. As the U.S. and its allies move to secure the future, Saga is positioning itself where the money, mandates, and momentum are flowing, exploring materials essential for aerospace, next-generation systems, and stealth. The message from Washington is becoming clear. Onshore it, secure it, fund it, mine it. And one of the standout achievements here was Saga scooping another titanium project from under Rio Tinto, a company roughly 3,500 times larger by market cap. That takes skill, patience, and execution. If you want to learn more about this critical mineral story, check out the link in the description. Special thanks to Saga Metals for making today's video possible. By the CIA, and they just stole a bunch of documents regarding each and every one of these events. So I need to remind you, I guess, maybe that the CIA does not have jurisdiction over the Office of the Director of the National Intelligence. The Office of the DNI sits above the CIA, right? So this is now the second time that we know publicly that ODNI, Tulsi Gabbard, Joe Kent, that they have been basically overrun by one of the intelligence agencies that they oversee. The first notable example that was publicized was when the Office of the Director of National Intelligence was looking into whether or not foreign state involvement could have possibly taken place in the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and the FBI shut down their investigation. Kash Patel, the Indian manlet, went running into the office and said, no, you're not allowed to do that. Shut it all down. Call your men off, blah, blah, blah. And they actually did. It sparked a huge war within the agencies, but they ended up having to do that. Well, then we got this report live on Fox News when John Kiriakou was on Jesse Waters' show, saying that something had taken place, like a raid on the office of Tulsi Gabbard. Take a listen.
And this just in, John. The CIA just raided Tulsi Gabbard's office. Agents hauled out dozens of boxes, files on the JFK assassination and MK Ultra, the CIA mind control operation, which she was in the process of declassifying. Today's whistleblower said it during his deposition, and Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna confirmed it moments ago.
And this is Anna Paulina Luna's full statement. Now, Jesse Waters said that Tulsi Gabbard's office had been raided. Anna Paulina Luna is like being a stickler, saying like, no, it wasn't raided and it didn't take place today. It took place several days ago, but we only learned about it now due to the reporting. Anyways, this was her initial statement on the matter.
Before we get to the CIA whistleblower about the COVID-19 pandemic and Dr. Anthony Fauci's role in the cover-up, you also have some news coming out of the CIA that you'd like to share.
Yeah, so we were actually just notified that the CIA went in and took documents out of ODNI, multiple boxes pertaining to the JFK files as well as MK Ultra. The reason why this is troubling is there was an executive order that the president had directed the full declassification of JFK, but then also to the MK Ultra files. The CIA famously has said that, all documents were released and other documents had been destroyed. So these are allegedly those documents that apparently never existed, and so very troubling. I did just talk to Chairman Comer, and we are sending in the next hour or so a preservation of documents request to the CIA. I have calls into the White House to the director of the CIA himself, and so obviously as this develops, we'll keep everyone up to date, but strange times we're living in, that's for sure.
Does the CIA have jurisdiction to go into Gabbard's office like that and take documentation?
Well, the CIA does not have jurisdiction to work against an executive order by the president. And so the fact that someone did this when the president is out of country, from what I gather, I believe that Director Radcliffe is with him. And so this seems like it was an internal coup, to be honest.
An internal coup. Those are very strong words from Anna Paulina Luna. And it came, again, a few hours after a 20-year CIA officer, James Erdman III, went out in front of the House and had this to say in his testimony.
Else. It was this claim. The CIA refused to provide information necessary to understand why analytical standards at the CIA were violated. The CIA illegally monitored the computer and phone usage of DIG personnel, their investigations, and contact with whistleblowers. These were Americans being spied upon illegally while executing duties directed by the president and under the authority of the Director of National Intelligence. One CIA contractor assisting with the DIG's investigation into the events that transpired between 2022 and 2023 was fired by the CIA one day after meeting with the DIG. When the DIG ceased operations, the CIA also took back 40 boxes of JFK files and MK Ultra files being processed for declassification by DNI Gabbard.
So there you go. The CIA took back 40 boxes of classified information that were under review by DNI Tulsi Gabbard regarding JFK, MLK, RFK, MK Ultra, and also people were getting fired from the CIA over investigating Anthony Fauci's involvement in steering intelligence narratives away from the lab leak theory to other theories, that like a rat pooped and then we all got COVID handed to us on a silver platter or something, right? So a lot of madness going on, and then then Anna Paulina comes out and she goes on this Twitter storm talking about like, well, you know, it wasn't like a raid. Clarification, they took documents that ODNI has jurisdiction over. Also, this did not happen today and was not a raid. However, it did take place and we were just being made aware of it based on reporting. She continues to go out and say all this stuff. It's like, well, that's not really what we're concerned about. If it was a raid or was it, you know, the technical labels here. The problem is the president of the United States ordered the declassification of whatever they deem non-sensitive documents related to JFK assassination, RFK assassination, MLK assassination, MK Ultra, and now we're getting none of it. Literally none of it. Okay, maybe they declassified like, what, 10 pages of JFK and we learned basically nothing. But beyond that, nothing. Because the CIA effectively stole 40 boxes of what remains of these official documents from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. And you're going to hear in a second here from John Kiriakou. He told this story once on a podcast in great detail. And it was about how when the church committee took place and, you know, whatever the CIA official at the time was that was testifying about MK Ultra, he admitted that, you know, like, yeah, we have all these documents related to MK Ultra. They're sitting in a box somewhere in Langley or something. And the House told him, like, hey, like, do not destroy those documents. You will be held in contempt of Congress if you destroy those documents related to MK Ultra. And what did he do immediately after he left the House oversight meeting? He goes back to wherever those documents were, Langley, I presume, and they immediately destroy almost all of them. Okay, so John Kiriakou talks about this and how it relates to the events of the day.
Can the CIA overrule the president?
No, the CIA cannot overrule the president. The CIA cannot even overrule the director of national intelligence. In 1975, the Church Committee, which became the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, specifically ordered DCI William Colby to release all of the MK Ultra files. He famously went back to CIA headquarters and ordered that all of the files be destroyed. 85% of them were destroyed. He was held in contempt of Congress, and then CIA employees lined the halls and contributed cash to pay for the fine that he was ordered to pay. We only know what we know about MK Ultra because of the 15% of the files that weren't destroyed. These are among those 15% of the files. They are mandated to be declassified. The American people have a right to know what is in these files, and the CIA can't raid offices, least of all the offices of the Director of National Intelligence. It's just, real life isn't supposed to work this way. This is
yeah. Real life is not supposed to work this way, but the CIA does what the CIA wants, and I guess there's no one that can do a damn thing about it. They waited until Trump went to China, and then they did like an internal coup to try and what seems now to be a very effective blockade against Tulsi Gabbard from releasing any of these files. So again, the question still stands. You know, I said this during the 12-day war. I said it during the most recent American aggression, the Ramadan war against Iran. I'm like, why the hell is Tulsi Gabbard staying there? And then after Joe Kent left and he resigned, you know, he was the counterterrorism chief under the ODNI. I'm like, why the hell is Tulsi Gabbard still there? You know, she's turned into Colin Powell 2.0, and she's totally sacrificed everything she claimed to once believe in. And I said, maybe there's a off chance, a 3%, 5% chance that she's still trying to push something through that's going to be good for all of us. But it's like, okay, even this, I guess, if she was still trying to push for this, it's like, okay, they're still going to block you. They just went in and stole all the documents. Like, what are you thinking you're going to do, Tulsi Gabbard? When are you going to wake up to the fact that, like, you don't run shit? You don't run shit, and whatever credibility you have or had is being lost in this really pointless pursuit to try and do, like, very, I guess, like small things that, you know, in the grand scheme of things, okay, it'd be nice to have these documents, but we all kind of know what are in these documents. I would give her tons of credit if she got them released, but clearly they do not seem intent on allowing that to happen. So why stay? Why stay? Why continue to uphold this veneer upon a regime that is such a corrupt Epstein network of snakes and demons? Why continue to uphold this veneer that it's something other than that, right? And that's what she's there. That's what her purpose is there. That's why she's in that position. Oh, well, Tulsi Gabbard's there, so it can't be bad, right? Tulsi Gabbard hasn't left yet because people had like trust in her. Unlike everyone else in the administration, they had some trust in her. Well, that's long gone and over for anyone who has more than 2 working brain cells, myself included. And I don't see the point of her staying any longer. Before you leave, I want to say thank you for the support, because after 2 years of being banned, we are finally back home on YouTube. So be sure to subscribe to our channel and also join as a member on our channel using the link at the top of the description. I rely on the generous support of viewers like yourself to get the truth out to as many people as possible. You can also support the show on Locals or Give Sin Go. The mainstream media and the powers that be are never going to stop attacking us for bringing the truth to as many people as we do. Thank you so much for your support.